In this lesson titled Pivot Table Slicers, we're in Workbook, Lesson 14, Pivot Tables and Charts, and we are on Worksheet tab, Slicers. Here we have a pivot table that's similar to the ones we've done in some previous lessons. I'll just click anywhere on here so that we can make sure that our pivot table fields is active. I want to reinforce too that these pivot table fields dialog box is detachable. If you'll grab it up here at the very top in the blank space, you can just pull it over and it'll be detachable. And then if you bring it all the way over to the edge and hold it there, it will dock again. And then once again, we have all of our categories here from our table. And down here is the map of how we are going to display our pivot table. Currently I have customers in column, and you can see here customers are going across here, Emporium, kitchen stuff, etc. Salesperson is in row, and we see here's our salespeople in this first column coming down each row. And in values we have sum of items. And so here is the sum of all the items because we clicked on number of items. It adds them all up for us and puts them in here. Now there's one area that we haven't talked about very much, and that's over here. It's called filters. And filters just basically is a way to filter your data. Now you always have an option of filtering any of your categories. For instance, here where I have all of my customers, it says at the top row label. So if we wanted to make that more accurate, I could just click here and type salespeople, and I'll just click away here to accept that. And we can see here that next to this header is a little drop down arrow, and I could uncheck any of these names, and so therefore filtering them out. They would literally disappear from our pivot chart. So we do have a type of filtering that is available in our pivot tables. But when I click in here again and we come over here, we also have a filter category. So for instance, I could bring region in and bring it into our filters. Now region is not mentioned in our pivot table, but these are in categories by region. I'm going to bring region into our rows so you can see regions. So there's definitely regions. I could bring regions over to the columns. That might be a little easier for you to see. Here's all the regions by customer because I have region and customer together. I could even reverse these in order over here in the column, and then you would see all of our customers and then total of that region. So I just want to make the point, region is part of our data, but if I bring region over to filters, you don't see it here in the data, but you can still filter on it. So if you click over here, you can see I only want to see the Southwest data. And so now this is just Southwest data. See here it says region Southwest. So I'm only seeing Southwest region. So you can filter on information that you can't even see. I'm going to go over here to say all and OK. So all of our data is back. Well, right now I want to introduce this idea of slicers, and it's a more visual way to do filters. And we get there by going up to our pivot table tools, and under that we have analyze and design. Typically these are active, but if you ever click away and then click back again, it can take you back to your home tab. So you just have to remember that you do have pivot table tools up here. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Analyze, and we can see that right here in the middle we have Insert Slicer. So I'm going to go ahead and click that. I'm going to bring this over a little closer, always drag by this top bar here. And what is listed is every single category. They match the same fields we have over here. They're also here. And it allows us to filter on any of them, whether they're seen or not. So for instance, region, I'm going to click on that, and I'm also going to click on customer, and let's say OK. Immediately it creates two slicer panels for us. I'm going to click on these and move them over a little bit so we can have them here out of our way. Slicers, quite simply, are just graphical filters. I can click here for Northeast, and now I'm only seeing my Northeast area. And look up here, it says Region Northeast. Here's Northwest, Southeast. If I hold my mouse over here, you can see this is called the Multi-Select tool. If I click that, then each one of these, when I click it, it will add it to my selection. And I can come over here, and then I can click again to take it away from my selection. At any time, I can go back to my normal, everything selected, by clicking on my clear filter right here. So these are extremely handy. Let's come over here to Customer, and let's say I only want to see Kitchen Stuff Ink. So I come over here and click on that, and now only Kitchen Stuff Ink, and I'm in all of my regions. But I can mix and match, click Northeast. So now I'm only Northeast region and only Kitchen Stuff Ink. I think you can see how valuable these are. In an earlier lesson, we talked about slicers being used with tables. It's somewhat similar, especially in the slicer tools. So if I click and activate any slicer, I can come up here to my slicer tools and options, and I can give these any kind of style I want. And I can also control the layering or the arrangement by bringing one forward or one backwards. If I wanted to put one of these on top of the other, I could send that one backwards and it would go behind it, or I could bring it forward again. So you can manipulate these in many different ways. Also, I can control the size of it here. I'll scoop this up a little bit, and I'll bring this one up as well. We might even decide that we prefer more of a horizontal instead of a vertical look. I could drag that out like this, and I can come over here to my columns and say I want that to be as many columns as I have categories, and then you can see they all fit in just one row. And now maybe that looks more like a control panel, especially if your data came all the way across and this was just another bar that you could click on down below. So very useful. Slicers, a graphical way of showing what you are filtering.